Today, we're going to be focusing on 5 strategies to build lean and agile operations with low code for the now, next, and beyond. And we're joined by Eric Hale, Head of Sales Enablement at Creatio, and Alex Petronenko, Project Evangelist at Creatio. So both of you, thank you very much for joining us today, and the floor is now yours.
Excellent. Thank you very much, and welcome, everyone. As Rhea had mentioned, my name is Eric Hale. I'm Director of Sales Enablement at Creatio, and joined by my dear friend, Alex Petronenko, who will be running through those low-code applications that can help in this challenging time. So as we get started within the presentation, we're going to be discussing several different things on the agenda. Again, taking a look at some of the realities that we're experiencing in our environment today, and why that environment is causing us to face our transformational strategies on a more accelerated pace. Right? It's no longer just a nice to have. It's a survival strategy at this point. We'll also be talking about low code as a building block for agile and lean enterprises. So Alex will be running through some strategies that we have to help along your transformational efforts. And then we'll also discuss a little bit about Creatio's low code platform for process automation. And then, as Rhea had mentioned, we'll open it up to Q&A at the end of the presentation. As we get started, we know that these unprecedented challenges that we've seen in 2020 really has driven the need for organizations to innovate and have the flexibility to adapt to changing environments. And that was something that even pre-COVID, a lot of organizations were focused on. But now, as I had mentioned, we're on this accelerated path where we have to adapt to those challenges very quickly. In fact, IDC predicts that by 2024, over 50% of all IT spending will be directly for digital transformation and focused on innovation within their organization. So, the studies also agree with that we're going to be moving towards, more innovative initiatives within our organizations just to stay ahead of these challenges. And, so the one thing that, COVID-19 has exposed is, there are many broken or non-existent processes for many organizations. And, companies that have embraced and accelerated their digital transformation strategy can actually, come out ahead of this on the flip side of what's happening. So, we kind of have to prepare for that best and worst case scenario and how we're going to, advance after we get through, the challenges that we're experiencing today and beyond. So this is really driving business leaders to kind of seek out solutions that can, help them be nimble, adaptive, and agile. So technologies that can automate and digitize processes are now becoming a must for most business leaders that are out there. So why are they focused on this, right? It really can give them competitive advantages over companies that are not embracing digital transformation strategies. They look at these figures according to Deloitte that we see here on the screen. Companies that have a mature digital strategy report 3 times higher net revenue growth than companies that don't focus there. And another great statistic that I see here on the screen is that 68% of executives in a recent survey said that digital transformation investments have led to revenue growth in the last 12 months. So the pandemic really has showcased, the value of digital operating models, and it's likely to force, many companies to kind of speed up their digital innovation and transformation cycles. So if we look at, a couple of the statistics on the screen here, although we see the need and benefit of digital transformation, it doesn't mean that there aren't any hurdles along the way. So in fact, only 30% of transformations achieve their objectives according to IDG. And a major challenge can come from, technologies that are not easy to change, are expensive to manage, or are disconnected, from other applications within your organization. So there's a lot of data silos, and how do we bring those all together? So another major challenge comes, from the IT side of the house. If we look at, the challenges that are being faced by IT departments, we see many different challenges. We have application complexity is growing, right? So having to support these complex applications going forward in a manner that's effective is really getting to be a challenge for most IT groups. And within the IT groups themselves, the business demand keeps growing. So the business is always wanting additional functionality, but IT departments are having issues keeping up with that demand, right? So their backlog is growing. And that can also be from a couple of different challenges from a personnel perspective, right? IT budgets are being cut because, organizations are having to focus on, what's going to be the items that are going to bring a faster time to value for them. So a lot of IT budgets are getting cut, and they're focused on things that are meant to help the organization survive. IT departments are also facing a lack of skilled developer resources. So what we're seeing is that the market for skilled developers is shrinking. So it's not like you can even bring on, or you can, but it's difficult to bring on additional resources to kind of keep up with that backlog. So that is a big challenge. And then finally, we also have, this misalignment between business and IT, right? Business always, has that demand. They need these things to keep these projects to keep their business up and running, but not understanding that these challenges are happening within IT. So there's that misalignment, and it really is important to kind of bring that all together into a single strategy and a single initiative. And so, this is why, it's really important for organizations to leverage technologies that are going to enable them to optimize their efficiency, help them transform their business processes quickly if needed, and also optimize the experience of their, not only their customers, but of their employees as well. I think that's something that we forget about when we're going through our digital transformation cycles. Everything, is really focused on the customer, but, with the workforce, of today, we also need to make sure that we're equipping our staff with the best-in-class tools that's going to make them effective in their role. At this point, I'm going to pass it over to Alex, and he's going to talk about low-code and some of the strategies that low-code at the foundation can actually help address some of these challenges for most organizations. So Alex, I will turn the floor over to you, sir.
Thanks, Eric, and hi, everyone. I'm very excited to be here with you today and talk about low-code. Is really, how does the low-code market look like currently, right, globally? And of course, the North America is actually the largest market across all of the regions. Right now, it is worth around $8.1 billion. That, of course, Forrester predicts that the market itself by 2024, so in 4 years, or I would say, in 4 years, will grow to $52 billion. So this is a massive opportunity. This is a massively growing market in general. But the interesting point here is that also the fastest growing market by region is Asia Pacific, right? So there's definitely something interesting happening in Asia Pacific. There's definitely a lot of opportunity for low-code vendors and definitely a lot of opportunities for businesses to transform their organizations and to embrace the low-code on its own. And now let's really talk and let's have a look at what is actually happening with the application development right now that low-code applications have been evolving and where they are right now. So according to Gartner, by 2024, more than 65% of all of the development is going to be done through low-code, right? Using low-code application platforms, using drag and drop, point and click style of configuration of those business applications. And of course, Forrester says that 70% of all of the organizations believe that local platforms are more affordable than traditional software development, are more comfortable to use and bring more value. And this is really showing that, and as you can see, more than half of those organizations agree that low-code is the future of the software development, right? And they do believe that this is exactly where the market is going to be moving, which is a great sign for all of the low-code vendors, right? And of course, this is sort of not a red flag, but definitely a lighthouse for other organizations that haven't looked at the low-code technologies as of now and haven't really thought about low-code as the backbone for their business application creation. Now, what are the 5 strategies to bring lean and agile business operations? And we as a low-code vendor definitely have defined those 5 based on our experience, based on the experience of our customers and our partners. And the very first one is to make everyone a developer, right? Of course, this is not a pro developer. This is going to be a citizen developer. And we're going to talk about the difference between the two as I go through these strategies. The second one will be swiftly create custom applications, have the ability of changing processes, meaning your organization processes faster, reduce silos, and of course, boost user adoption, which is also quite important now in the remote work, right? We've seen this from the poll that 65%, I believe, was it Eric, agree that, have said that one of the greatest challenges was actually the user engagement, right, and the employee engagement in general. And we believe that higher user adoption can help mitigate this risk of the engagement. So let's get started and let's talk about those strategies, starting with the make everyone a developer. Now, according to McKinsey, the success of digital transformation for any organization is almost twice as high when employees are empowered by self-serve technology. And of course, in this case, nobody's expecting a regular user, a regular employee to build applications to create some processes or data models and user interface. Is to deliver functionality that is going to allow them to have certain flexibility in carrying out some of those operations that would, in certain cases be carried out by IT, by developers, by their business analysts, right? And of course, in this case, Creatio does follow this view, right? We are focusing on user experience, user adoption, and we do deliver a lot of functionality that allows the end users to have a certain level of control of their specific access in the application. And since we mentioned, the making everyone a developer, I mentioned citizen and pro developers, what is really the difference between them? Now, of course, a citizen developer is a non-professional developer a non-professional IT staff who uses low-code or maybe even no-code technologies to develop those applications. And of course, different analyst firms define those citizen developers in different ways. According to Gartner from the 2019 research on low-code application platforms, there are really 4 major categories of developers, right? So the end user citizen developer, the citizen developer who is a power user, a business-led developer, which is more on the pro development side, and of course the enterprise IT developers. All of those will have different tools that they will be using. In certain cases, the line is very fine between a power user citizen developer and a business-led developer, right? Of course, we don't say that the pro developer should be only limited to coding, to hard coding stuff, right? They should still have the ability of using low-code technology that will accelerate their development processes and will deliver them higher agility in delivering those, right? But of course, the idea here is that different levels of development will as well have different purpose, right? They will have different types of applications that they will be delivering, right? And of course, introduction of low-code technologies does not necessarily remove the role of professional developers at all. I would say that they are removing a lot of the overwhelming backlog of tasks that are usually delivered to them, right, and allow them to focus on most difficult, most important development areas, such as complex data integrations, complex business logic, complex user experience focuses, right? Our belief of many other our customers and partners that we've talked to is that citizen developers will be able to carry out, with time, of course, 95% of all of the configuration in a business application of different complexities, starting with very simple, I would say, individual applications and work group applications, and probably moving towards departmental applications. Eric, does that something that resonates with you as well?
Yeah, and I think you just made a couple of great points, Alex. I mean, maybe we should change this slide as well, right? Citizen developers versus pro developers. It probably should be, plus, right? Because what we're not trying to do is, replace, professional developers with citizen developers. I think it is just that combination of the two. As we mentioned in the challenges, we see that IT backlog just continuing to grow and to grow and to grow. Well, if you have citizen development resources, they can take some of that off the plate of the pro developers, reducing that strain and actually helping them, produce applications faster and help the entire organization reach, a faster time to value, which, we saw is, one of the biggest targets that most organizations are trying to achieve today.
Absolutely. And we definitely would like to hear from the audience what they think about the citizen developers and pro developers, if this is a versus or if this is a joint collaboration. So guys, definitely leave your thoughts and questions in the Q&A widget and area, and we're going to try to answer those and address those thoughts later in the Q&A session. But at this point, let's carry on, right, and let's look at some of the other numbers that have been registered according to citizen development best practices, right? Now, definitely the advantage of having a citizen developer in-house is that 27%, for example, of all of the applications that were created by citizen developers were created with the customer in mind, right? And of course, this is in no means to belittle the professional developers, right? Of course, they are doing the best job that they can, but when you have a little bit more of an insight into the business operations of the organization, to the business needs, of course, you have a better way of addressing those needs, right? And this is exactly what is meant by having the customer in mind. Of course, another interesting number here is that 42% of the applications that were developed by citizen developers help the businesses run more efficiently, right? And taking into account that the low-code market has emerged only a couple of years ago, right, and where it is right now, it is quite exciting to see this number this high right now, right? And of course, this number will continue growing over the years, together with the market, together with the percentage of all of the applications that were delivered by citizen development. But since we have a lot more material to go through, let's probably move over to the next area of the strategy of creating lean business operations, which is swiftly create custom solutions. And in this case, I would definitely want to kind of look back into the history of application development and delivery, right, where we definitely talk about two major options that organizations had when choosing new business applications. First of all, they were, they had an option of going with the custom development, right? To hire a, professional service organization that would be building and delivering applications for them according to their business requirements from scratch, using some backend platforms such as .NET, for example, right? And then everything having been done from ground zero. And the other option that the organizations had was, of course, using packaged applications, off the shelf, something that has been already designed and built according to industry best practices. And of course, all of those, both of these options had their pros and cons. And of course, different organizations went with different options. But the idea here is that we've seen that the markets have been growing and have been changing very fast, right? And businesses needed to be able to change very fast with them as well. And this is where local platforms really have found this, I wouldn't say niche, but the golden middle between the two options, because very often, there are low-code applications that go with pre-packaged solutions with vertical solutions, industry-specific solutions, right? But still open the flexibility for custom design or for extending those applications, tailoring them to specific organization needs, right? And of course, this is not a custom development. I wouldn't say that. I would say that this is custom design, right? But it allows the organizations not only to have, let's say, 80% of their application be ready with prepackaged, and then quickly fine-tune the remaining 20 towards their specific needs, which really then means that moving forward, anytime that there's going to be a drastic need in a change of one of those applications, they would be able to quickly adapt it. They will be able to quickly deliver this change, right? And the past year, I believe, has really proven and shown us that at any moment of time, you might need to change, right? And you have to be ready to change quickly and fastly. And this is exactly the low-code advantages, right? So having the huge number of developers, such as end users and the business-led citizen developers, having the option to change faster and reduce those silos. And changing processes faster with low-code is also quite important, right? Because if you look into your organizations, you probably know already, or you will kind of uncover that across your organization where you have multiple different business units, perhaps you have marketing team, sales team, you have HR, you've got procurement, you've got finance, you've got legal teams, and many, many others. You have hundreds of different processes that these departments are following internally, cross-departmental processes, right? Processes within teams, within sub-teams, depends on how big is your organization, right? And you might not understand, but every single function that they are carrying out is a process, right? And our belief is that you should be able to bring flexibility, and you should be able to change processes that these departments and business units are following with a combination of different tools, right? And what you should be able to change about those processes is definitely the workflows themselves and the business rules, the business logic behind them, right? You should be able to quickly adapt the user interfaces and the data model that they are using. Of course, to fine-tune integrations, because there is no organization that only uses one application at all, right, as their core and only one. We've seen, companies use, I would say, 5 to 20 different business applications on a daily basis, right? And of course, having the ability to incorporate and to then adjust, revamp the algorithms powered by machine learning, powered by artificial intelligence, that help organizations have more insights beyond the human brain, right? To have more computer generated insights into their processes, into what would be the most efficient and best ways of doing their jobs. Moving forward, we're talking about reducing silos and how exactly low-code applications can support that. Of course, the idea here is to address multiple issues that organizations face with different technologies. Now, definitely in this case, we're talking about removing the issue with the budget constraints and time constraints and resource constraints, right? By empowering those end users with self-serve technology, by having more business-oriented users delivering the functionality, you can definitely say that new features, new functions can be carried out, and new updates and changes to processes can be carried out quite quickly. Of course, paper processes are a huge pain in very large, very old organizations that are not so easy to overcome. But we have seen great results, and we have seen great improvements on this side of the low code, where by digitalization, digitizing those processes, organizations were able to improve the performance. They were able to improve the SLAs, and of course bring efficiency to hundreds and thousands of employees and users that they had. Of course, it's all about bringing a certain level of automation to complex processes, and not even automation, but putting them in place, putting them in structure, right? The low-code applications in this case help the IT and business users be more aligned towards each other, have a better understanding of those processes, right? And then as well carry out them a lot faster. And of course, modern technologies are very secure. They are very compliant with multiple different regulations of multiple organizations, right? So this is as well helping the organizations be up to date with the modern world, right? And rest assured that their data is safe and secure, that the users are safe and secure, and that their overall company operations are very secure as well. And let's talk about user adoption, right? And in this case, it's not even just about the user adoption, but this is as well about the design adoption, right? If you look at, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, the code itself looked like a huge novel with many different symbols that nobody could read out, right? This was really a profession to develop the applications. Right now, we see the applications being easily carried out with simple drag and drop interfaces, WYSIWYG style of configuration. And at any moment, if there is a critical change needed for one of those user interfaces, it's a matter of seconds and minutes of bringing that change and rolling it out to the end user, right? And of course, what we see happening is that those end users, when they see the changes that they've requested being delivered same day, overnight, next week, depending on the release cycles, they are very excited. They're very engaged into the whole process because they see that the management, they see that the IT are listening to their feedback and that they are capable of rolling out and delivering to them, right? Which of course is very reassuring. It is helping them to stay engaged and continue adopting the application, feeling their importance, feeling how they can influence the organization and the tools that are being delivered to them. So overall, right, Creatio really provides a lot of different tools for system configuration. I believe that right now we are counting towards 19, right? We are expanding that list as well. Some of the primary ones are, application design tools for data model and user interface, the business rule design functionality, the business process, the dynamic case management functionality, and of course the analytics design, analytics engine. All of these tools that we are working on are constantly being developed. Our goal is to empower organizations with these low-code tools for system design application creation, right? That will allow them to achieve, higher user adoption, higher, organization operation performances, and of course higher revenues, higher growth amongst their markets and across their industries. And in this case, at this point, I will pass the floor back to you, Eric, to talk about our platform, talk about our low-code environment and our process automation.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Alex, and great job running through those trends. So I think you spoke to a lot of how low code can address those challenges, and as we saw in the poll, user adoption and how do we work remotely is of utmost importance. So having the ability to create those applications and design it for the way people work is ultimately important. How low code can help. So that's why at Creatio we believe that we can create a world where everyone can automate business ideas in minutes, That is something that, we focus all of our go-to-market strategy on, right? Is how do we enable people to automate business ideas in minutes? And that's why we've designed our platform based on, three key pillars. And our three key pillars are our business process management engine that helps to connect all of those processes. Alex showed that nice process slide where, talked about you have all of these different business units within your organization. You have front office processes, back office processes, and how do we connect those all together? Well, business process management can come in and connect all of that data into a single interface. Obviously, we've been talking about low code and its capabilities to rapidly create applications to help business needs, meet business needs across many organizations. So having the ability to create those apps when and where they're needed, also to automate processes across organizations. If you can do that in a way that doesn't require any heavy lifting from coders and developers, that's going to make your job, that much easier. So we've designed the platform utilizing this to make it easy to configure and easy to develop on. And then finally, what we've done with our business process management engine and our low-code platform, we've built actually best-in-class applications for sales, service, and marketing that sit on top of this platform of low-code and business process management. It's been highly recognized by key industry analysts. What we've got for positive reviews is that capability that sits at the foundation. So this is just actually a snapshot of the platform itself. And as you can see, our Studio Creatio sits at the foundation of our platform. And this is really that low-code business process automation platform where you don't necessarily have to be a coder or a developer to create applications and automate processes. You can do this at the business analyst level. And again, on top of that, that's what we built our sales, marketing, and service applications on, leveraging low-code technology to configure those tools to enable people to work like they live. And then finally, that fourth box that you're seeing there is our Creatio marketplace, where we have hundreds of pre-built applications, connectors, and templates that our user community can leverage. So they're not always constantly reinventing the wheel. They can leverage what has already been built utilizing low-code tools and implement them directly into the platform. So again, if we look at low-code platforms versus some traditional methods, we're able to help meet unique customer requirements and accelerate the time to value. As we had mentioned, these are challenges that most organizations are experiencing. So, we are able to do that a lot faster than, let's say, custom development, which takes time, effort, and resources to create. On top of that, if we look at traditional BPM and low-code tools, they're easy to customize, but it can take a while to get them up and running. And then traditional CRM is usually pretty vanilla and is not flexible enough to meet business requirements across most organizations. So that's really why our Studio product is really the crown jewel of our platform, and we bring this to market in a couple of different methods. So we have a complete freemium version, what we call Studio Free, and this is really where you can access our design tools and help to build process flows, applications in real-time collaboration with your team. So it enables you to design those and document those processes and applications, fully supported by BPMN 2.0 notation. So that allows you to collaborate and design those. And when we need to execute on those processes, we have our Studio Enterprise Edition. And that's really where you're able to leverage those tools, put them into action, and connect all of those processes across your organization. So really the idea, we're completely focused on delivering best-in-class low-code solutions to our customers and partners. And the idea behind the low-code platform is to design and deliver business applications. And we have a series of tools that help you through that process. Again, all of those ready-to-use components that Alex went through in his presentation. I just discussed our marketplace connectors and add-ons, and our fully built CRM modules that can help you move through that application design process and execution of those processes very easily. I had mentioned that leading analysts have recognized our capability across multiple functions. So our platform has been recognized in 5 Gartner Magic Quadrants, including 2 leader categories. So industry analysts, have been recognizing that the Creatio platform is a modern way to address business requirements. And very similarly at Forrester, we've been named to 7 Forrester Waves as strong performer. So this is really important because it touches on virtually every aspect of our platform has been recognized. And, we've also received several CRM market leader awards. And that's all great. Analyst recognition and awards are great, but this lower right-hand corner of the screen is really what I find to be the most beneficial confirmation of our platform, and that's our user reviews. So going out to Capterra, Gartner Peer Insights, we get high user reviews from our user community on the ease of use and flexibility of our platform. So it's great that the industry analysts are recognizing, but man, it's great to hear when our user community is giving us high marks. That's to me what's most important. And, so that's it for our presentation. So I hope that you were able to gather some great feedback on, how we're viewing the low-code market and how we see digital transformation being a survival strategy at this point. It's no longer a nice to have, and it's not a 3 to 5 year roadmap anymore. It's now, and we need to leverage tools that are going to be able to allow us to keep up with that transformation in a timely manner. So we believe the way to that is low code, and hopefully we shed some light on that for you. So why don't we open it up to questions from the audience?
Awesome. Thank you, Alex and Eric. That was fantastic. So just kind of focusing on that remote element and the remote environment now for, say, remote teams, how does a low-code platform support remote teams?
Great question. I'll start off, Alex, and you can chime in when you want. But
Sure.
So we're all working remotely, and we may not have. I'm getting a little feedback there.
You're all good.
Am I good? Okay. Thanks. So we may be minus application. So, it was something that we wanted to digitize all of our processes, but, remote workforces were not, prevalent at the time. Well, now that we're all forced to work remotely, those applications that hadn't been digitized yet really had, caused a lot of issues to have that business continuity when everybody went to, a remote work environment. So it really forced, a lot of business leaders to have to go out and seek solutions, right? We had some ready-made solutions, which are great, the Zooms of the world, Microsoft Teams, all of this bringing us together for remote work. But what about those, business-specific applications that there wasn't, a ready-made, out-of-the-box point solution to address? That's really where low-code has come into play, where we can start to develop those applications pretty rapidly. I'll give you a quick example. What about, we have a customer that's a construction company, And when they had to get back to work, they had to have an application that, ensured the safety of their employees and the safety of their customers. So when their work crews were going back out to work, they needed an application that, hey, they could log in, check that they hadn't had any symptoms, and, therefore they can move back to work very quickly in their remote environments. Well, we were able to develop that application within a matter of 3 days for them. So when the time came, they were ready to go. They kept their employees and their customers safe. Alex, I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but I feel that low-code is a tremendous tool for remote work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when the pandemic started, when the lockdown started happening in all the countries, a lot of organizations were really facing those issues that they were ignoring for many years, that a lot of processes in their organizations are outdated or are just simply broken. They don't work at all, right? And when everybody had to start being remote, right, they started facing those issues of not taking any action towards fixing those problems, right? And those organizations that were already in the process of acquiring a local platform, or those that have just acquired that, were able to address them quickly to start fixing those issues before they became a company-wide problem, right? Stopping the operations at all. And of course, another thing is, well, this is if you're having more of a business, focus and business perspective. But if you're looking at a simple end user, what matters for them is a really simple application that allows them to be more productive, more efficient, that will not require them to move between multiple different applications to complete their daily activities, right? And we do address those collaboration and productivity matters as well, because we are not just a local platform, we are a communications platform as well, right? It's a question of many answers. It's all about having your CDI integration and being able to quickly reach out to your peers, to your customers for any different purposes, right? Having internal social networks that sit within your business platforms, having the option to send out emails without having to switch between 10 different applications that are open on your desktop just from one specific area, or maybe even have a process that was created, delivered, and that it sends out those email notifications for you. So it's a lot of things, right? It's you can address those from different perspectives, but we have seen a lot of customers reaching out during our sales processes with one specific request as an addition. How do you support remote workers? How do you keep them engaged? How can we do this, right? And it starts with very different areas, right? For some, it's a matter of just having a simple dashboard being delivered and created, and then just being updated per needs. For some, they need a little bit more of a engaging functionality, such as gamification, that really drives those users, right? But overall, in the end, we are able to address these issues. We are able to keep those users engaged and keep their level of productivity to the company standards. Let's put it this way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to close it there, unfortunately, but I would recommend to our audience that they connect with you on LinkedIn, both of you, and follow up or carry on those conversations with you. Alex, Eric from Creatio, thank you very much for your time and your contribution today.